You've probably heard about Elon Musk's latest venture announcements, but you might be wondering if this whole Macrohard thing is just another Twitter meme or actually something serious. Well, I've been digging deep into this story for weeks, analyzing the financial backing, the technology claims, and the real competitive landscape between Musk's AI and Microsoft's empire. And here's what I found that might surprise you. This isn't just about two tech billionaires throwing shade at each other on social media. This could fundamentally reshape how software gets built in the next decade. Welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. So, in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about Elon Musk's Macrohard versus Microsoft's AI strategy, including the real numbers behind XAI's funding, the actual technology they're building, and why this rivalry represents something much bigger than just another startup trying to take on big tech. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just what's happening between these companies, but what it means for the future of work, software development, and whether AI really can run an entire company. Let's start with something that might blow your mind: the story of how Bill Gates built Microsoft into the software empire it is today, because understanding that foundation is crucial to grasping why Musk thinks he can tear it all down. Microsoft's foundation, the empire that software built. Picture this: it's 1975, and two college dropouts named Bill Gates and Paul Allen are about to make a decision that would literally create the software industry as we know it. When they founded Microsoft, they didn't just start another tech company. They invented an entirely new way of thinking about computing. Here's the genius move that most people miss when they hear the Microsoft origin story. Gates and Allen didn't try to build the best computer hardware. Instead, they focused on something nobody else was paying attention to: the invisible layer that makes computers actually useful. Their first product was basic programming language for the Altair 8800. But that was just the beginning of a strategy so brilliant it's still working today, nearly 50 years later. The real breakthrough came in 1980 with that legendary IBM partnership. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When IBM came knocking, looking for an operating system for their new personal computer, Gates made a decision that would echo through decades of tech history. He didn't just sell them software, he licensed it. This might sound like a boring business detail, but this single choice built the foundation for everything Microsoft became. Think about what this meant in practical terms. Every PC manufacturer who wanted to compete with IBM needed that same operating system. And guess who owned it? Microsoft collected licensing fees from everyone, creating what economists call a network effect. The more companies that used MS-DOS, the more valuable it became, which attracted more companies, which made it even more valuable. This wasn't just smart business, it was economic engineering at its finest. But wait, it gets even better. Windows 1.0 launched in 1985 with something revolutionary: a graphical user interface that normal people could actually understand. No more typing cryptic commands into a black screen. You could point, click, and actually see what you were doing. By the time Windows 95 rolled around with its start menu and taskbar, Microsoft had done something unprecedented. They had made computers accessible to everyone, not just engineers and hobbyists. Here's the part that really matters for our story today. Microsoft didn't just create software. They created an entire ecosystem. They bundled Office with Windows, built developer tools like Visual Studio, and established relationships with businesses worldwide. By 2000, their revenue had exploded from around $3 billion in 1990 to over $23 billion by the decade's end. But more importantly, they had created what one analyst calls gravitational pull in business computing. Once companies adopted Microsoft's stack, switching became incredibly expensive and complicated. This ecosystem strategy is exactly what Elon Musk is trying to challenge with Macrohard. But before we dive into his approach, you need to understand just how deep Microsoft's roots go in today's tech landscape. Microsoft's modern AI transformation. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's ancient history. What about today? Well, here's where Microsoft's story gets really fascinating, because they've managed to reinvent themselves completely while maintaining that same ecosystem advantage. Under CEO Satya Nadella, Microsoft made a pivot that seemed impossible for such a massive company. They went all in on cloud computing with Azure, and then they made the move that has everyone talking. They invested over $13 billion in OpenAI. Let me put that number in perspective for you. $13 billion is more than the entire GDP of some countries. This wasn't just an investment, it was a declaration of war in the AI space. But here's the brilliant part of Microsoft's AI strategy that most people miss. They didn't try to build everything from scratch. Instead, they leveraged their existing ecosystem. They took OpenAI's technology and integrated it everywhere. Windows Copilot helps you navigate your computer, GitHub Copilot writes code alongside developers, and Office 365 now has AI assistants built into every application. This approach creates something incredibly powerful. AI that's already embedded in the tools people use every day. You don't need to learn new software or change your workflow. The AI just appears where you already work. It's the same ecosystem strategy that made MS-DOS dominant, but now applied to artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, Azure data centers around the world are processing millions of AI requests every day, creating a massive infrastructure advantage. Microsoft isn't just offering AI tools, they're providing the foundation that other companies use to build their own AI applications. This dual approach, providing both the platform and the applications, is what makes Microsoft so formidable in the AI space. But then came August 2025, and Elon Musk threw down a challenge that nobody saw coming. Enter Macrohard, Musk's radical vision picture. Elon Musk scrolling through Twitter, looking at Microsoft's latest AI announcements, and thinking, you know what? I bet I could build an entire software company that's run completely by AI. That's essentially how Macrohard was born, and the implications are absolutely mind-blowing. In August 2025, Musk announced Macrohard through his XAI venture, and the name itself tells you everything you need to know about his intentions. It's a direct challenge to Microsoft, but with a twist that could change everything we think we know about software development. Here's Musk's core insight, and it's either genius or completely insane, depending on how you look at it. He noticed that Microsoft doesn't actually manufacture hardware anymore. They're purely a software and services company. So Musk asked a provocative question. If a company doesn't make physical products, could an AI system theoretically replicate their entire operation, from coding to management to customer service? This isn't just theoretical anymore. Musk's vision for Macrohard involves hundreds of specialized AI agents working together in what he calls multi-agent systems. Imagine software that writes other software, manages its own development cycles, handles customer support, and even makes strategic business decisions. These aren't simple chatbots we're talking about. These are sophisticated AI systems powered by Grok, xAI's language model, running on what Musk claims will be millions of NVIDIA GPUs in his Colossus supercomputer. But here's where it gets really interesting. Musk filed a trademark for Macrohard on August 1st, 2025, covering AI software and tools. This isn't just a publicity stunt or a social media joke. He's actively recruiting engineers, and he's backed by serious money. We're talking about over $12 billion raised for xAI by late 2024, including a $6 billion funding round that included heavyweight investors like Andreessen Horowitz, BlackRock, Fidelity, and even NVIDIA themselves. The goal, according to Musk's own AI assistant Grok, is to create software solutions via specialized agents for coding, image generation, workflow automation, and more. But the real kicker is this. Macrohard aims to have AI build and run the whole company, outputting apps and tools at scale with minimal human intervention. Now you might be wondering if this is actually possible, or if Musk is just being his usual provocative self. Well, the technology is advancing faster than most people realize, and there's a reason why some of the world's smartest investors are betting billions on this vision. The technology battle. Agents versus ecosystem. So let's get into the technical details, because this is where things get really fascinating. Microsoft and Macrohard represent two completely different philosophies about how AI should work in the real world. Microsoft's approach is what I call AI integration. They're taking existing workflows and making them smarter. When you use GitHub Copilot, you're still writing code, but the AI suggests completions and helps you debug. When you use ChatGPT in Office, you're still creating documents and presentations, but the AI helps with research and formatting. It's human-AI collaboration, where the human remains in control. Macrohard's approach is fundamentally different. Musk is betting on what researchers call AI autonomy. Instead of assisting humans, these AI agents would replace human roles entirely. One agent might specialize in front-end development, another in back-end systems, a third in quality assurance, and a fourth in project management. They would communicate with each other, coordinate their work, and deliver finished software products. Here's what makes this technically possible now when it wasn't 5 years ago. Large language models like GPT-4 and Grok have reached a level of capability where they can understand context across long conversations, write complex code, and even reason about system architecture. Multi-agent systems allow these AI models to specialize and collaborate, potentially achieving results that no single AI could accomplish alone. But here's the challenge that Musk is facing, and it's a big one. Microsoft has something that's incredibly hard to replicate: trust. When a Fortune 500 company needs to choose between a software solution from Microsoft with decades of enterprise relationships and proven reliability versus an AI-generated solution from a startup, even if that startup is owned by Elon Musk, which do you think they'll choose? Microsoft also has regulatory compliance, security certifications, and legal frameworks that took decades to establish. When you're running a bank or a hospital, you can't just use experimental AI-generated software, no matter how innovative it might be. You need proven, audited, compliant solutions. This is where the battle becomes really interesting, because it's not just about technology anymore. It's about trust, relationships, and the willingness of businesses to bet their operations on AI-first solutions. The numbers game: funding and infrastructure. Now let's talk about the resources behind this battle, because the numbers are staggering. Microsoft's market capitalization is over $3 trillion. They generate hundreds of billions in revenue annually. Their Azure cloud platform operates data centers on every continent except Antarctica. They have enterprise contracts worth billions of dollars with governments and corporations worldwide. But here's where Elon Musk's advantage becomes clear. He doesn't need to match Microsoft's existing revenue. He just needs to prove that his approach can work, and he has the financial resources to run that experiment at massive scale. XAI raised $12 billion by late 2024, and that's on top of Musk's personal wealth and his connections to other ventures. Tesla recently granted Musk a $29 billion stock award, effectively ensuring he has the resources to pursue ambitious projects like Macrohard. When you can spend billions on GPU clusters and hire the world's best AI researchers, you can afford to take risks that other companies simply cannot. But here's what's really interesting about the infrastructure battle. Microsoft built their advantage over decades. They have data centers, fiber optic networks, enterprise sales teams, customer support operations, and legal departments spread across the globe. Replicating that infrastructure would normally take decades and hundreds of billions of dollars. Musk's bet is that I can compress that timeline dramatically. Instead of building traditional corporate infrastructure, he's building AI agents that can handle customer support, sales, marketing, and even strategic planning. If this works, Macrohard could scale from zero to global competitor in a fraction of the time it took Microsoft to build their empire. The question is whether this actually works in practice, or whether there are fundamental limitations to AI-first business models that we haven't discovered yet. What this really means: the future of work. Here's where this story becomes about much more than just two companies competing. The Macrohard versus Microsoft battle represents two different visions of how work will evolve in the AI age, and the outcome could affect millions of jobs and careers. Microsoft's vision is augmentation. Humans and AI working together, with AI handling routine tasks, while humans focus on strategy, creativity, and relationship building. In this world, software developers become more productive with AI coding assistants, but they still design systems, make architectural decisions, and solve complex problems. Marketing teams use AI to generate content and analyze data, but humans still craft strategy and build relationships with customers. Musk's vision is replacement. AI agents handling entire job functions autonomously, collaborating with other AI agents to deliver complete solutions. In this world, software development becomes fully automated. Marketing campaigns are designed, executed, and optimized by AI systems. Customer service is handled by AI agents that can resolve complex issues without human intervention. Both visions have profound implications. Microsoft's approach preserves human agency while making work more efficient. People keep their jobs but become more capable. Musk's approach could eliminate entire categories of work, while potentially creating unprecedented efficiency and cost savings. But here's the part that most analysis misses. We might not get to choose which vision wins. Market forces, customer preferences, and technological capabilities will determine the outcome. If Macrohard's AI agents can deliver software solutions faster and cheaper than human AI teams, businesses will adopt them regardless of the employment implications. This puts us at a fascinating inflection point. We're not just watching a corporate rivalry unfold. We're witnessing a real-time experiment in what happens when AI capabilities advance from assistance to autonomy. The results will shape the next decade of technology and work. The reality check, challenges, and skepticism. Now, before we get too carried away with either vision, let's talk about the real challenges that Macrohard faces. Because despite all the hype and funding, there are serious questions about whether this approach can actually work. First, there's the technical reality. Current AI systems, even the most advanced ones, still struggle with complex reasoning, long-term planning, and handling unexpected situations. Software development isn't just about writing code. It's about understanding user needs, anticipating edge cases, ensuring security, and maintaining systems over time. Can AI agents really handle all of these responsibilities without human oversight? Then there's the trust issue we mentioned earlier. Enterprise customers don't just buy software, they buy relationships, support, and accountability. When something goes wrong with a critical business system, they want to call a human being who can understand their problem and take responsibility for fixing it. Can AI agents provide that level of service and accountability? There's also the regulatory challenge. In industries like healthcare, finance, and government, software needs to meet strict compliance requirements. These requirements often include human oversight, audit trails, and legal liability. How does an AI-first company handle these requirements when their entire value proposition is eliminating human involvement? Critics have already started pointing out these limitations. Some analysts argue that Macrohard is not a threat to Microsoft, citing Microsoft's unparalleled scale and the naivete of believing AI can instantly replicate all human engineering and business tasks. They point out that AI-written code still struggles with compliance, intellectual property concerns, and the kind of creative problem-solving that enterprise customers value. But here's the counter-argument that makes this battle so compelling. Every disruptive technology faces these same criticisms until it doesn't. Why this matters beyond tech. This rivalry matters because it's happening at a moment when AI capabilities are advancing exponentially, and the implications extend far beyond the technology industry. The outcome of this battle could influence how AI develops across every sector of the economy. If Microsoft's approach wins, it suggests that the future of AI is collaborative. Humans remain essential, but become dramatically more capable through AI assistance. This model preserves employment while increasing productivity and it maintains human agency in critical decisions. If Macrohard succeeds, even partially, it demonstrates that AI-first business models are viable. This could accelerate the development of autonomous AI systems across industries, potentially transforming everything from content creation to scientific research to manufacturing. But there's a third possibility that's even more interesting. Both approaches might succeed in different markets. Enterprise customers might prefer Microsoft's human AI collaboration model for mission-critical applications, while startups and smaller companies might adopt Macrohard's AI-first solutions for speed and cost advantages. This market segmentation could create a fascinating dynamic, where different parts of the economy operate under completely different paradigms. Some sectors might become highly automated, while others maintain strong human involvement. The companies that successfully navigate this transition will likely be the ones that can adapt their approach based on customer needs and market conditions. The broader question this raises is about the pace of AI adoption. Musk's aggressive timeline and radical approach could accelerate AI development across the industry, even if Macrohard itself doesn't succeed. Sometimes the value of a disruptive experiment isn't in its immediate success, but in how it pushes entire industries to innovate faster. What to watch for? So as this story unfolds over the next few years, here are the key indicators to watch that will tell us which direction this battle is heading. First, product launches. Macrohard is still in early development, but Musk has promised concrete deliverables. Watch for their first AI-generated applications or tools. The quality, functionality, and market reception of these early products will tell us a lot about the viability of the AI-first approach. Second, enterprise adoption. Microsoft's strength is in enterprise relationships, but if businesses start experimenting with AI-first solutions for non-critical applications, it could signal a shift in market dynamics. Pay attention to which companies are willing to test Macrohard's offerings and for what use cases. Third, talent migration. Top AI researchers and software engineers are in high demand. If Musk can attract significant talent from Microsoft, Google, and other established companies, it suggests that industry insiders believe the AI-first model has potential. Fourth, technological benchmarks. As both companies release new AI capabilities, comparing their performance on objective measures like code quality, system reliability, and problem-solving ability will provide insight into which approach is actually more effective. Finally, regulatory responses. Government agencies and industry regulators will eventually need to address AI-first business models. Their decisions about compliance requirements, liability frameworks, and oversight mechanisms will significantly influence which approach can scale successfully. The bigger picture. Ultimately, the Macrohard versus Microsoft battle represents something much larger than corporate competition. It's a real-world experiment in artificial intelligence, business model innovation, and the future of human-machine collaboration. Whether Musk succeeds in building a viable AI-first company or not, this experiment will generate valuable data about the current limitations and capabilities of artificial intelligence. It will push Microsoft and other established companies to innovate faster, and it will help us understand what's actually possible when AI systems are given unprecedented autonomy and responsibility. The most likely outcome isn't that one approach completely defeats the other, but that this competition accelerates innovation across the entire technology industry. We'll probably see hybrid models emerge that combine the best aspects of human-AI collaboration and AI autonomy, adapted for different use cases and markets. What's certain is that this battle will influence how AI develops not just in software, but across every industry where automation and intelligence intersect. The decisions these companies make, the technologies they develop, and the business models they prove viable will ripple through the economy for decades to come. This is why everyone should be paying attention to this story, regardless of whether you work in tech. The outcome will affect how you work, what tools you use, and what skills remain valuable in an AI-driven economy. Conclusion. So there you have it, the complete breakdown of Macrohard versus Microsoft, from Bill Gates' licensing genius to Elon Musk's AI-first revolution. This isn't just about two billionaires competing on social media. It's about fundamentally different visions of how artificial intelligence should reshape the economy. And we're about to find out which approach actually works in the real world. What do you think? Is Musk's vision of AI agents running entire companies the future of business? Or is Microsoft's human AI collaboration model more realistic? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this analysis valuable, make sure to subscribe because this story is just getting started, and I'll be covering every major development as this battle unfolds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.